Hi, I'm Cassandra Clare, and I'm making this video for Lice and Carol from TMI Sao Paulo. I send kisses to you both, and I'm excited to do this video for my Brazilian readers. Um, as City of Bones has just come out in Brazil, and I've been getting a lot of enthusiastic mail, so I'm hoping it's doing well there. Okay, Lice and Carol have sent me some questions to answer, so let me get to those. What's the most difficult part of writing a book, and how do you overcome it? Um, I think that the most difficult part of writing a book is different for everyone. For me, it's starting, staring at that first blank page with no words on it and knowing that I have to fill up not just that page, but hundreds of more pages with story is very intimidating. But I just get through. Now I get through it by a trick. I skip from chapter 1 to chapter 2, and I start at chapter 2 as if I've already written chapter 1. I can pretend that I already wrote a bunch of the story already, and that mental trick helps me get through. Uh, there's, okay, another question. What was your reaction when they came to me to make Mortal Instruments into a movie? Well, my reaction initially was, okay, you can certainly option the rights to Mortal Instruments to make it a movie, but I know that most books that are optioned never become movies. So I thought, great, you know, sure. You give me some money, you have the option to make it a movie. You probably won't, but what's the risk? And now that they've been very serious about making Mortal Instruments into a movie, it's been very exciting, and no one would be more happy or surprised than me if it actually happens. Um, the Mortal Instruments series are in so many houses around the world. This says, did I wait for this? I mean, I think this question is like asking, did I expect the books to be successful? Did I expect them to be translated into as many languages as they are? And the answer is no. I sold the Mortal Instruments back in 2004, 2005, when teen books were not the huge industry that they are now, which was helped a lot by Twilight and people realizing that books about teenagers were not just for teenagers, that they had a lot to offer everybody. And so I was lucky to have books that were out at the right time, that people were looking for this sort of mixture of the supernatural and romance and adventure. So this is been much bigger and more exciting than I imagined. I didn't expect it at all. We know you like Harry Potter. What personages do you like more and why? Um, oh, it's been such a long time now since I've read the Harry Potter books, and I liked Harry Potter. I've always been a fan of the hero of the book, the person you're supposed to like. I liked Harry. I always thought he was a great combination of vulnerability and stubbornness, likability. He had flaws, but he was always very brave, and I loved him. I wanted him to win out. I'm glad that he did. Um, and I always liked Hermione, of course, because she had the book smarts, and she stood in for all of us girls who love to read. Do you think about coming to Brazil? Um, I would love to come to Brazil if the books are successful there and my publisher invited me to come to Brazil and to tour. I would absolutely go. I've never been to South America, and I know that Brazil is a wonderful book culture and great book fairs, and I've heard many good things from other authors. but it's entirely, in these cases, up to the publisher of the book whether they decide that it's financially a good idea to bring an author out to their country or not. So if you want to see me in Brazil, get all of your friends to buy the Mortal Instruments books, and it'll make it much more likely that I'll come out there. The next question is about why I decided to write 6 books instead of 3. Originally, The Mortal Instruments was a trilogy, and that was all that there was going to be. After that, I was going to write The Infernal Devices, which is the series of prequels. And I was asked by a company that does graphic novels, manga, comic books, if I would write a story for them to turn into a comic book about one of the characters from the Mortal Instruments. And I said, sure. So I started to write out this story about Simon from the Mortal Instruments, and then the graphic novel deal didn't happen. So there was going to not be a graphic novel, but I had already done all of this work to come up with this story. And so I asked my publisher if they would like to see it as a book, and they said yes. When I sat down to write the book, I realized that while the little story about Simon was enough for a comic book, it was not enough for a novel. And that I wanted to know what was going on with all of Simon's friends, with Jace and Clary, Magnus and Alec and Isabel. And as I developed storylines for all of these other characters, I realized that there was no way that that was one book. It was much too big. It was too big of a story, too huge of a canvas. And I went to my publisher and said, this is not one book. This is 3 books. This is a new trilogy. And they said, great. So I hope that everybody is as enthusiastic about the idea as they are. I finished the first book in the new trilogy, City of Fallen Angels, and I really enjoyed writing it, and I hope that people will find it an exciting start to a new series about these characters that they know. Has someone ever told me something about the books that I didn't like? I mean, all the time. There's no such thing as a book that everybody loves. And people will often come up to me and say that they hate this character or that character that I love. But just like there's no human being in the world that everybody loves, there's no character that everybody loves. So I try to, remind myself that you cannot, it's impossible to write a book that everybody in the whole world will love. And you have to concentrate on the people who do love it. And for the people who don't, it's not the book for them. Recommend something else. And then there's a last question about how not all writers speak with their fans, and why do I do that? I think that all writers really enjoy speaking with their fans. I think that there comes a time when, if you're Stephanie Meyer, if you're Suzanne Collins, or someone very, stratospherically popular, when you no longer can, the volume of what's coming into you is just so high that you can't respond to it all personally. It becomes overwhelming. For me, I dedicate a certain portion of my day, a certain number of hours, to talking to fans, answering email, answering questions, trying to stay connected. I think it's an important part of my job as an author. If it ever became completely overwhelming, I don't know what I would do. First I would hire an assistant. I actually do have someone who helps me part-time. And, I do everything that I could to remain in contact with fans, because I think that it's important. I think that it's the best way to get information to people. It's the fastest way. I feel like they trust it more when it comes from you. I feel like they trust you more when you're in touch with them and you appear to, and when you're taking their questions seriously and their opinions into consideration. So as long as it's possible for me to stay in touch with fans, I'll do it. And also, I love my fans. I think that they are some of the most, obviously, if you like my books, then you like some of the same things that I like. Then the same kind of things that appeal to me appeal to you. So we have those things in common. So for me, the fans are all potential friends. And I hope to be able to stay in contact with them as long as possible. Thank you for having this interview with me. Lots of kisses to Brazil. Obrigado. And let's keep our fingers crossed, as we do here in the States when we really want something to happen, that I will be able to come and visit you guys in Brazil soon. I'm Cassandra Clare.